Time for the BA Breakdown here on the KRMG Evening News with Skylar Cooper. It's where we check in with Michael Spurgeon, the Broken Arrow City Manager. Joins us live. Michael, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great, Skylar. Great to visit with you on this Tuesday afternoon. How's your week going?
It's like drinking from a fire hose, my friend. It's been a busy news week. So I'm glad to kind of slow down and stretch out a little and just have a conversation with you. It's always nice to catch up. One thing I wanted to ask you about was just kind of a fun thing I saw on Facebook. Broken Arrow's birthday, 120 years old now as a city. And I might say myself, looking fine for 120.
Absolutely. This actually on October 16th, the city was founded in 1902. And we just wanted to put the word out to our community that we're 120 years old and city's going strong right now, and that we're working every day to make sure we have a great place to live, work, and play, and that we're planning for the next 10 years. And I feel pretty good about where we're at as a community. And so we just want to recognize that. And I think we'll probably have some larger functions when we get to probably 125. But we just wanted to let people know, especially those that may be relatively new to the community, that we're 120 years old.
What do you think the founders of Broken Arrow would be the most impressed with now? If they were to come back and you, the current city manager, gets to walk them around and show them around, what do you think would be the most impressive?
Well, first thing, if that happened, I would have Dr. Clarence Oliver with me, because he is our local historian, and he can actually cite so many wonderful things that have happened in our community. And I probably have Lori Lewis from the chamber, who knows pretty close to everything he knows. So I'd have them with me because they're our resident historians. But if you think about it, when folks came to Broken Arrow, the land was simply just prairie land. And then the day after we were founded, there were hundreds of residents that were setting up tents, and buildings started. The construction was everywhere. It didn't take very long for Broken Arrow to start growing. So I think they'd be very impressed, because we've tried to maintain that small town feel that goes along with our cities, i.e. the Rose District, but yet we've tried to make sure we have adequate plans for the growth. And so we've stayed pretty consistent in a lot of areas, and I think they'd be happy with the growth and how we've gone about it.
Well, happy birthday, 120 to Broken Arrow. While we're talking about that sort of thing, and you mentioned the Rose District, I know that it is that time of year where it starts to make a change from the things that happen in the summer, like the fountain there in the Rose District Plaza, which is a lot of fun for kids. Every time I drive by, they are there. I understand things like that shutting down. We're getting into winter mode, which is exciting because I always love the beauty of the Rose District this time of year. The lights go up, and if it's snowing or anything, it just kind of adds to that. It's like the perfect little small town area to see, just some beauty in a city in the winter.
It is, and we encourage everyone to come down to downtown the Rose District. I mean, this time of the year, we watch the weather. The Parks Department, Matt Hendren and his team, Phil Hink, who's the park supervisor, we keep track of what the weather's going on. And unfortunately, this time of year shows up. We have to start winterizing the fountain because of the parts in it, making sure that it doesn't cause any problems. And so this just happened to be that time of year that we're going to have to close it. But like you said, it does coincide with the fact that we are just a few weeks away from our tree lighting ceremony. And so we'll be putting the lights up real soon, and then the skating rink is going to be there. And it's just going to be an amazing hometown feel for everybody. And we can't wait till December 17th. Last year's ceremony was incredibly important to me personally, and I cannot wait until the 17th to commemorate the kickoff of our holiday season.
Michael Spurgeon with us, the city manager in Broken Arrow for the BA Breakdown. You mentioned the ice rink. Let me ask you a question about that. We were in our news meeting a couple of days ago, and I mentioned that. And I might be misremembering this, but isn't it some sort of artificial ice?
Yes, actually. Well, artificial. I wouldn't say artificial. I mean, it's set up there in the Rose District. They come in, they bring everything in, and then actually they freeze the area. So wouldn't actually call it artificial. You kind of caught me off guard there, but no, it's actual ice. I've skated on it. And I've had a really, really good time on it, but I think it's a real ice, and they set it up similar to what you would find if you went into a larger venue where they actually do skating all the time.
I gotcha. Yeah, I misremembered then. I've heard of areas where you can just lay down some panels and it's sort of slick like ice, but that's cool. Real ice would be more authentic.
It is.
All right. One thing I want to ask you about here as we wrap it up is an ordinance that I understand is expected to be adopted this evening at the city council meeting. It's about hotels and allowing people who run the hotels to work with the police and help minimize crime. Very topical considering what happened there at 71st and Garnett yesterday.
It certainly is. I mean, the city police department Brandon Berryhill and his staff, and also Councilmember Lisa Ford, when she actually worked for the police department, were actually watching the numbers and the statistics of the number of inordinately high number of calls that we'd gotten from some of our hotels, and they had gone about a process of trying to identify ways to help address some of those problems. And what they determined was that they were both security and operational related. And in working with the hoteliers, we did some research, and we've determined that the best approach to maintain safe and secure conditions for everyone in our hotels is to pass an ordinance that does have certain requirements, and those include, everyone needs to pay their occupancy tax, pass the code enforcement inspections. There can't be any fire department safety issues, and there can't be an exorbitantly number of high of calls for service. If they meet those criteria, they're going to be in good shape. If in fact they have a large number of calls, then it could basically potentially cause them to lose their license, because we don't want our calls for service to continually to be at those same places and them not take any effort to try to address them. And so we feel pretty strongly this is a way of working with all the hoteliers. We've met with them. We've offered their input for what we're planning, and tonight council is going to consider that ordinance that I think is going to be a great step to help make those facilities a great place for people to come and stay. And also aesthetically, we want to make sure that when people come in our community, that aesthetically all of our facilities are great to look at and as well as to stay in. So we think this is a step in the right direction, and I think it'll help our police department with the number of calls we've been having to go to in the last couple of years at a number of properties within our community.
Michael Spurgeon, thank you for the chat. We'll talk next Tuesday.
Okay, my friend. You have a great rest of the week.